like to welcome everybody to the Piedmont Community Charter Board of Directors meeting. First, I'd like to begin by reading our mission statement. Piedmont Community Charter School is a tuition-free K-12 school that offers a superior college preparatory educational option for this community and its families. We'll take a moment of silence. Okay. Moving to number 3 on the agenda. Do we have any public comments?
No, Fran.
Okay. Number 4 is awards and recognition. Oh, actually, before you do that, I'm sorry. I do need to have a motion to add something to the agenda. Under Facilities Committee, we need to take a vote on the elementary HVAC project.
Make a motion to amend to add the report on facilities committee.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, Jeff, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
11th grader Molly Gaston was accepted to the 2025 North Carolina Governor School in the discipline of choral music. She was selected through a competitive process to attend this residential program for gifted and talented high school students, and we are really proud of Molly. Middle school 7th and 8th grade band performed at MPA, Music Performance Adjudication, and earned an excellent rating. We are very proud of their remarkable performance. We congratulate Piedmont senior Emery Ivy, who was awarded first place in the 2025 Gaston County High School Senior Art Show for her incredible graphite work, Native American paint. And I don't know if you saw that picture on Facebook, but it was incredible. We were excited to celebrate student art at last weekend's K-12 Art Festival held at the middle school campus. We had a wonderful turnout of students and families and want to thank our art teachers, Mrs. Green at the elementary school, Mrs. Lutz at the middle school, and Mrs. Williams and Mr. Vahue at the high school for their hard work putting together this event showcasing Piedmont. And I want to thank Mr. Benfield for handling everything about the K-12 Art Festival. They all did a great job.
Okay, moving to number 5, which is the approval of our previous minutes. They're in the packet. Has everybody had a chance to review those? So if there's no corrections, we just need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve previous month's minutes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Moving to reports. First up, we have Treasurer and Finance Committee.
Thank you. So for this evening, I have 2 reports for us. I'm going to start with our budget report, and this is for the period of February. I'm going to start with the month-to-date activity. Total state revenue, $1,674,558.33. Our total local revenue for the month, $392,937.67. Federal revenue of $78,321.63. Total fund balance appropriate, $35,244.18. Brings total revenue for the month of $2,181,061.81. Against total expenses for the month of $1,577,094.51. Leaves a net surplus for the month of $603,967.30. Other income from our investment account of $5,562.58. Leaves a net surplus after investment for the month of $609,529.88. And that brings our year-to-date activity of $347,412.30. questions on the budget report? Okay. I am going to move on to our surplus and cash report as of February 28th, 2025. Operating account of $3,593,082.69 in our Truist account. Student activities account of $85,577.37. Our investment account at PNC, $2,982,148.44. Petty cash of $1,000 leaves total cash of $6,661,808.50. Our anticipated cash position, cash investments on hand at 6/30/2024 of $7,384,000. Current year budgeted surplus, $987,690.74. If you back out our repair and replacement account at U.S. Bank of $400,000, also less our fund balance appropriations of $565,885.81. Leaves expected cash and investments on hand 6/30/2025 of $7,022,188.93. If you back out our investment account of $2,982,148.44, leaves expected cash available 6/30/2025 $4,040,040.49. Our U.S. bank accounts on the far right are ending balance. Our bond fund, $516,184.32. Debt service reserve fund, $1,794,015.24. Repair and replacement account of $351,397.61. Leaves total funds held at U.S. Bank, $2,661,597.17. Any questions on our surplus and cash report? That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, moving to item B, head of school report.
All right, first I have the compliance submission report. So for the Office of Charter Schools, we had to submit our liability insurance, and that was done on February the 20th. We also had to submit our criminal history check policy, and that was also submitted on February 20th. For our bond loans, we had to upload to Emma our quarterly financial information, and we did that on February the 14th. All right, next we have the enrollment report, and as of March 11th, our total enrollment was 1,906 students. We had 666 in elementary school, 635 at the middle school, 605 at the high school. We had a few students who moved and one who decided to homeschool this month. Next on the personnel report, we hired Carson Waller at the middle school as a custodian and Brittany Kennedy as a 5th grade science teacher. And I do need the personnel report approved.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 2025 personnel report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the motion's approved.
All right, next I have the North Carolina Center for Safer Schools grant award letter. We wrote a grant for the Evolve system, and we wrote it for the full amount, but we were able to get $25,000 towards the cost of that Evolve system. So we're happy to get anything.
Yeah, it's great news.
And that's all I have for you.
All right, Moving to item C, enrichment committee.
No report.
Okay. Item D, athletic.
That's me. All right, middle school update. So in spring sports, we're in full swing at the middle school, where we offer baseball, softball, girls soccer, and co-ed golf for the spring. Softball is currently 0-2 on the season. Girls soccer is currently 1-2. Baseball is 1-2, and golf is 0-1. Our cheerleading squad attended their first cheer competition at Jackson Day last month and won the overall Most Spirited Award. Taylor Howes was awarded top tumbler for the middle school division, so that was exciting. For high school, Mr. Ballard has completed and submitted the scholar athlete information for the fall and winter sports program. So in order to qualify for the team award, the team must have a cumulative GPA of 3.1 or higher and must have at least 5 athletes on the roster. So this GPA is calculated unweighted, and all of our teams for the fall and winter seasons earn scholar athlete team recognition. So in volleyball, we finished with a 3.56, in women's tennis a 3.57, men's soccer a 3.54, women's cross country a 3.67, men's cross country a 3.59, even though there we didn't meet the minimum player requirement. Cheerleading 3.79, men's basketball 3.41, women's basketball 3.51. So everyone, excuse me, who has a weighted GPA of 3.5 and above qualifies for the individual scholar athlete award. The following is the number of members of each team who qualified in the team membership. So for volleyball, we had 9 out of 11. For women's tennis, we had 8 out of 10. For men's soccer, we had 16 out of 20. For women's cross country, we had 8 out of 8. For men's cross country, we had 2 out of 3. For cheerleading, we had 14 out of 16. For men's basketball, we had 7 out of 13. For women's basketball, we had 10 out of 13, for a total of 74 of our 94 athletes. So the NCHSAA recognizes teams with a certificate, all members of the team with a certificate, and individuals with a certificate. So in addition, the 3 teams with the highest GPA in the state in each classification receive a plaque and a check for the athletic department. So job well done by our athletes this year. So I do appreciate Mr. Ballard doing all that hard work and getting that filled out. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving to item E for facilities committee. Ms. Killen passed out these quotes from GSM right before the meeting. We had talked about the HVAC unit at the elementary campus before, and that was the quote for $6,586 to replace some parts that had gone bad on it. So when they went to replace these parts, they realized that the entire compressor is bad. So the additional quote for $9,200.05 is to replace the compressor on top of that original part that we had discussed. So we do need to get a motion to approve this, because we are going to have to move this money from the fund balance. Anybody have any questions? If there's no questions, I do need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the quote from GSM as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oh, sorry. And make a motion to also approve that from, or moving it from the fund balance as well. Sorry.
Did you get that in? Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
So who seconded?
Melissa.
Oh, Melissa. Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion approved. Thank you. Okay, so moving to governance committee, Mr. Satterfield's not here tonight, and Mr. Tharp is not here tonight, who is our expert reader. So I do need a volunteer We do need to do another read-through of the school safety and threat assessment policy. We can split this up if y'all want to. One person doesn't have to read the whole thing.
So I did make the edits that you wanted to make after last month's reading, and I did verify that the laws that are written with our attorney are correct.
Okay.
The law references.
I can read the first page.
Okay.
You taking the second?
I'll do it.
I'll grab a third one.
All right. School safety and threat assessment policy. North Carolina law recognizes that all schools should be safe, secure, and orderly. If students are to aim for academic excellence, it is imperative that there is a climate of respect in every school and that every school is free of disruption, drugs, violence, and weapons. This policy addresses various means to foster school safety set forth in GS 115C, Article 8C, Part 2, GS 115C-105.49. Number 1, school safety exercises. At least once a year, the school will hold a school-wide tabletop exercise and drill based on the procedures documented in the school's confidential School Risk Management Plan, SRMP, and shall report the date and time the drill is conducted to the Center for Safer Schools. The drill shall include a practice school lockdown due to an intruder on school grounds. The school will hold a tabletop exercise and drill for multiple hazards in its SRMP. The school will seek to include local law enforcement and emergency management agencies in tabletop exercises and drills. The purpose of the tabletop exercises and drills shall be to permit participants to 1, discuss simulated emergencies in a low-stress environment. 2, clarify their roles and responsibilities in the overall logistics of dealing with an emergency. And 3, identify areas in which the SRMP needs to be modified. A tabletop exercise involves key personnel conducting simulated scenarios related to emergency planning. A drill is a school-wide practice exercise in which simulated scenarios related to emergency planning are conducted. Number 2, threat assessment. A, introduction. The school shall provide for assessment and intervention by threat assessment teams, including a classification system to indicate various levels of threats and the standard response to each threat level. It also distinguishes between assessment and intervention at each school level as appropriate. In developing these policies, the school has consulted the guidance issued by the North Carolina Center for Safer Schools and the school's threat assessment team. These policies shall not reference or reveal any information that is otherwise confidential safety information. A copy of this policy shall also be sent to the Center for Safety Schools. The National Threat Assessment Center, NTAC, of the U.S. Secret Service has identified 8 critical steps to dealing with school safety threats. Number 1, cited in School Threat Assessment Toolkit, page 20 to 21, National Center for School Safety. Number 1, establish a multidisciplinary threat assessment team. Number 2, define prohibited and concerning behaviors. Number 3, create a central reporting mechanism. Number 4, determine the threshold for law enforcement intervention. Number 5, establish threat assessment procedures. And number 6, develop risk management options.
Number 7, create and promote safe school climates. Number 8, conduct training for all stakeholders. B, definitions and descriptors. Number 1, threat assessment, a fact-based process of identifying, assessing, and managing behavior that may pose a risk of violence or other harm to self or others. Number 2, threat assessment team, a multidisciplinary team that includes but is not limited to persons with expertise in counseling, instruction, school administration, and law enforcement that conducts threat assessments in a public school unit where threatening behavior has been communicated and when a student has engaged in threatening behavior that warrants further evaluation. When practicable, at least one school psychologist, one staff member knowledgeable about the experience in working with students with special needs, and one staff member knowledgeable about and experienced in working with students with disabilities shall be assigned to the threat assessment team. The school may assign a licensed mental health professional if a school psychologist is unavailable. Members of a threat assessment team who are not employees of the public school unit may review student records as provided in 34 C.F.R. 99.31, A1IB, according to a written agreement with the school of the requirements and responsibilities for use of student records under the Federal Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. 3, threatening behavior. Serious threat defined. Any communication or action that indicates that an individual poses an actual or foreseeable likelihood of 1, endangering the physical safety of oneself or others, 2, a material or substantial disruption to school operations or its educational mission, or 3, other behavior constituting or appearing to constitute a violent crime. A serious threat may be expressed or communicated orally, visually, in writing, electronically, or through other means. Examples of behavior, including social media posts or other communications, raising reasonable concern of a serious threat may include, without limitation, 1, escalating anger or aggressive behavior, 2, significant changes in behavior and appearance, 3, expressions of suicidal ideations, 4, writing about violence or weapons, 5, cutting off communications, 6, stalking and harassing behaviors, 7, increased depression, 8, increased use of drugs or other harmful substances, 9, erratic behavior, 10, purchasing weapons, 11, threats of domestic violence, and 12, acting carelessly.
Number 5, staff duty to report. All school staff members must immediately report any threat or concerning behavior by any individual, an identified individual. All school community members, including students, parents, and guardians, are urged to report threats or concerning behaviors. Reports can be made through the anonymous tip line 1-844-5-SAY-NOW, the Say Something Anonymous Reporting app, or reported directly to the head of school or designee. Number 6, threat assessment team. A, establishment. The head of school shall establish a multidisciplinary threat assessment team. The team will assess and intervene with identified individuals whose behavior may threaten the safety of school staff or students. The team shall include but not be limited to persons with expertise in counseling, instruction, discipline, and school administration. When practicable, the team will include the school psychologist, a licensed mental health professional, school resource officer, and staff members knowledgeable about and experienced in working with students with special needs and disabilities. Members of the threat assessment team who are not employees of the school may review student records as provided in 34 C.F.R. 99.31 A1IB, according to a written agreement with the school of the requirements and responsibilities for the use of student records under the Federal Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA. B, team duties. The team shall, 1, provide training to students, faculty, and staff regarding recognizing and reporting threatening behavior that may indicate a risk of harm to the community, school, or self. 2, establish a written policy or procedure defining how threats will be assessed, including any scale or classification system that will be used to indicate various threat levels and the standard response to each. Number 3, identify members of the school community to whom threatening behavior should be reported. 4, implement other policies adopted by the Board of Directors. 5, utilize anonymous reporting applications for students to share information about school safety concerns requiring investigation. 6, upon finding a credible threat, the team may take any of the following actions. A, recommend that the individual involved be referred for mental health services. If the individual is a student or minor, the parents shall be notified of the recommendation and encouraged to contact the student's primary care provider, insurance, or the local Medicaid management entity or managed care organization. No.
B, provide notice to individuals who are the subject of threatening behavior, and if the individual is a student or a minor, provide notice to the student's parent or legal guardian. All notices shall be subject to the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act 2027 U.S.C. 1232G. C, provide notice to the appropriate local law enforcement agency. 7, any information shared among team members shall remain confidential, shall not be a public record, subject to Chapter 132 of 31, the general statutes, and shall only be released in connection with any emergency under the standards established by the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act in 20 U.S.C. 331232GB1I. 8, regardless of the threat assessment activities, disciplinary action and referral to law enforcement are to occur as legally required. 9, upon a preliminary determination of an identified individual, the team shall immediately report its determination to the head of school or designee. The head of school or designee shall immediately attempt to notify the student's parent or legal guardian. Number 10, nothing in this policy shall preclude school personnel from immediately addressing an imminent threat. Number 11, nothing in this policy shall preclude the team from notifying the head of school or designee of any individual other than a student who poses a threat of violence or physical harm to self or others. 12, upon preliminary determination by the team that an individual poses a threat of violence to self or others, exhibits significantly disruptive behavior, or needs assistance, members of the team may request and obtain all relevant records, including discipline or criminal history record information for adults and juveniles, and health and mental health records. 13, no team member shall redisclose any criminal history record information or health information obtained under this section or otherwise use any record of an individual beyond the purpose for which such disclosure was made to the team. 14, the team may not maintain or make copies of the criminal history record. Number 15, juvenile delinquency of criminal history information may not be placed in a student's central education/scholastic record unless the school is taking disciplinary action related to the incidents. School staff, including members of the team with legitimate educational interests, may store information about such incidents in records maintained separately from the student's educational/scholastic record. Number 16, the completed threat assessment shall be placed in the student's confidential record, and the completed notification document shall be placed in the student's cumulative file. 17, reports and findings of the team shall be maintained in confidence to the extent reasonably feasible.
Thank you, guys. for helping with that. Is there any changes that anybody sees? This is our second read-through. We need to make a motion to approve it tonight if there's no other changes.
Make a motion, we approve the school safety and threat assessment policy as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion is approved. Okay, moving to the high school dress code update. Do we need to read through this, or?
We just what we want to add, what I have
Highlighted.
highlighted in yellow.
Okay,
This is a request from Ms. Hudson.
okay. So you all should have a copy, so you can see about halfway down under tops. We would add solid undershirts or turtlenecks must be worn under cardigan, sweaters, and jackets. Under Roman numeral 3, bottoms, on the second line, students may not wear 2 pairs of bottoms, for example, shorts under long pants, etc. So that's the only 2 changes. Do y'all have any questions? We will need to make a motion to approve this too.
Make a motion to approve the updated high school dress code as presented.
Second.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion's passed. Okay, our next board meeting is going to be on April 15th.